Good morning. It's September 2nd. Definitely a touch of autumn in the air this morning. It was 7 when I got up. It might be a degree or two warmer than that now. But a definite little nip. Makes for pleasant walking. As it happens, I need to end up at our condo where we parked one of our cars underground, and because of the hailstorm the other night. So I'm going to go pick it up at the end of this walk. So I thought I would head all the way up to Dewdney Avenue, which I've done before, and walk along there by the old warehouses, go through the underpass over on Broad Street, and then come back through downtown. Might be a little less than an hour. We'll see. I took the day off yesterday, basically. Didn't do much of much importance. Mailed out some things. Having completed The Tangled Stars, my new novel for Daw the day before, I thought I could give myself one day. But today, my goal is to hopefully finish the short story I am writing for the anthology, Shapers of Worlds Volume 2, featuring authors who were guests during the second year of my podcast. The World Shapers, an anthology I kickstarted earlier this year. Once I have my story done, I can pull the whole thing together pretty quickly and get on towards getting it released in a month or two, probably 2. Well, 6 weeks maybe? We'll see. So that'll be exciting. The next thing after that will be deciding the order of the stories. I know what the first story is going to be. It's going to be one by Kelly Armstrong. And the last story will be the novella that S.M. Stirling provided. And everything in between, then I have to figure out what seems to make the most sense. There's no science to that. It's all a matter of feel. I feel like a story flows well out of that story, that sort of thing. There's no theme to the anthology, except that all these people were guests on the podcast. So there's a mixture of fantasy and science fiction, modern day, far future, everything you can think of, supernatural. It's all in there. So it'll be an interesting mix of stories, and I hope people really enjoy it. And it's going to be long, as I said. I think it's going to push 130,000 words. Morning, Miriam in India. I'll bet you it's warmer there than it is here right now. I'm feeling quite chilly. That's 7 or 8 degrees, whatever it is at the moment. Celsius, of course, for those who are I was wondering why the sky looked so washed out there on the screen for a minute. It seems to have adjusted now. Those who are still on Fahrenheit, it's not 7 or 8 Fahrenheit. Not yet. We'll get there. So Dewdney is a few blocks north. I'll walk up on the other side of Albert, is my plan. Although this is the sunny side, so it'll be warmer over here. But I always walk up this side. I walk up the other side. A little different. I don't walk up that side quite as often. I could, of course, just walk straight to the condo and get the car, but it's not quite what I had in mind. Nope, perfect timing here. As we cross Albert, this is college. We are on Albert. There's the building that belongs to the Royal Saskatchewan Museum now. At one time it was the Government Telephones building. lots of fossils in there, and paleontologists and people like that. Oh, and there's John Snell, whom I know just opened the door over there. What is with the camera? It's all washed out again. It takes it. I guess it's adjusting to the shadows I'm walking through, as opposed to go to the sky. Now it's fine, but as I go through the shadows, it keeps overexposing everything in the sunlight. Maybe it's always done that and I just never noticed. I don't know. There it goes again. Overexposed. And it adjusted. FedEx truck. That guy just ran a red light. On camera, so you know, check out the license plate. If I'm being followed by the cops. That was funny because on Twitter I once got that message, you were being followed by the Regina Police Service, which sounds threatening, but it just meant they were following my Twitter account. Over there is the studio where my daughter danced and worked this last few months. I never go in here, but there's a little bakery here. Not open on Mondays and Tuesdays, doesn't open till 10 o'clock, so it's not open yet this morning. I've been in there once, but it wasn't conducive to writing, which is my only interest in coffee shops. A place to sit and write while drinking coffee, well, obviously. Almost like I've changed a setting or something that's making it adjust the way that is, or I've just never noticed it, or it's the time of day with the sharp contrast. I don't know. There's First Presbyterian Church where we were married 20, how many years ago now? 24 years ago this year. This lot has been empty forever. I wish they built something there. It looks better now. It has grass in it. For a while it was just dirt. Okay. Over there's the Cat Cafe, which I walk by quite often on the other side. The tall building over there is Viterra, which used to be Saskatchewan Wheat Pool. It's a gay club here. Indian Bistro. Never eaten there. They may be closed. There's something about that looks like they may have closed now. Well, I guess I didn't do my part. The sushi place here. Never eaten there either. Well, I think I did once, but it was more of a Korean place at the time. Now it says sushi. The strip mall over there. Yeah, Thai is the place here we do eat, or at least order food from quite often. Around that corner. This is number one fire hall over here. William A. White Fire Station. Yeah. It's easy to jaywalk here if nobody's coming. But somebody's coming this time, so I can go after this truck goes by. It's easy to jaywalk because it's one way coming from that direction, so. Credit Union Central. Cathedral Social Hall over there, another place I often work. quite often in the afternoon. I might be there this afternoon, who knows. Although we are going out to eat tonight. Morning ET in OK Valley, in British Columbia. I hope things are okay in OK Valley. I knew somebody from Paradise Valley once. I think it was Paradise Valley in Alberta. I never knew if it was really a paradise or not, though. It is quite chilly in the shade with the wind blowing. There's Viterra there, Saskatchewan wheat pool before that. We're going to walk up to Dewdney Avenue and walk along there and then go through the underpass over on Broad Street and then walk back through downtown to our condo, which is where Central Collegiate used to be. Hi, Kirk from Vancouver. We now have 2 from BC and 1 from India. Here's one of these junction boxes that have been painted with art. There's a lot of them around the city now. They certainly look better than just your plain old green junction box. Across Victoria here. That's where the Plains Hotel used to be. They tore it down and we're going to build the tallest building in Saskatchewan there. Condos and a hotel and all that sort of thing. They got as far as digging the hole and then it stalled. And eventually they filled the hole in and now it's just an empty lot waiting for somebody to do something with it. Connexus Credit Union over there. Lived in Central from 59 to 69. That's a while ago. It's changed a bit. But not as much as you might think, I suspect. At least compared to some other cities. Briggs is where we get our dry cleaning done. It's an exciting tourist spot. CGI Place over there. Restaurant over here that I've eaten in Viet Trong, but only once, and unfortunately I was sick after that. It probably had nothing to do with their food, but the proximity to eating there has made me unwilling to go back. The food was good. I was just sick after that. And you know how your brain will associate things that make you sick with things that may have had nothing to do with making you sick. My mother always said that she got sick when she was pregnant with me after eating venison. Of course, being a little different being pregnant, but and after that she was never able to eat venison. We're not a huge loss. I could probably count the number of times I've eaten venison on one hand. Maybe one finger. It's not something I've eaten very often. Eaten sushi more often than I've eaten venison, for sure. So they're doing something here. Working on the divider, it looks like. I don't know the history of this building. It's very skinny. there's a window over there and some things that make it look like there was another building attached to it at one point. It's a very skinny building, as you can see. This is condos and then has offices as well. So if you're looking to rent, here's a place. Some of them are even finished or furnished, I mean. Now, when I first moved to Regina, there was a movie theater on this corner. I remember seeing, the remastered Star Wars when it came out with the new computer effects. This was a coffee shop when I first moved here. It's been this flow print for a long time now. You need it, we print it. This has been a tattoo parlor for a very long time. Tattoos, I don't understand tattoos. Never understood why anybody would want to get one. Certainly has never appealed to me. But, you know, people are different. This is Saskatchewan Drive now. Go across it. I don't have to press the button for this direction. Won't jaywalk here. This one's too busy. That's just a parking lot. And then first big building down there is the post office. I may have to go there soon. I have a lot of stuff from the Kickstarter to mail, and I think it would be better to go to the main branch than to saddle my poor convenience store postal guy with me tying up his counter for half an hour while we go through it all. Yes, this is Albert Street. Albert Saskatchewan Drive, going under the underpass. Or under the overpass, I guess. On the underpass we're on the underpass under the overpass. And of course, down there is where Taylor Field used to be, but it's not there anymore. With the advent of Mosaic Stadium a few years ago. Down there used to be Taylor Field. There used to be a tux rental place or something there. It says Laser Treatment Center now. And there's now some sort of Asian restaurant there. There was a Russian restaurant there for a while, which was interesting. And my daughter's dance studio was in that building with Dancer's Den as a dance store on the lower floor. And there was studio space up above it. That's where they moved after their studio over on the other side of Dewdney burned down. So I used to go up there quite a lot. Humpty's, not a place I've ever eaten. And there's an Asian food store over there. Quite a few things there. Hi, Roger. Flamin' Fitness over there with the guy on the treadmill. That mannequin has been up there for years. I presume it's the same mannequin. They change his costume once in a while because it does take a beating outside. Poor guy's been working out on that treadmill for years and years and years. So that's the Asian restaurant I was talking about. don't think I've ever been in this keg. It's fairly new. There's the guy up on the roof working out. Forever and ever, amen. D-sharp music. Been there a long time. McDonald's over there has been there a long time. One of those places they tore down and rebuilt as they changed their look. But the location has been a McDonald's for as long as I've been aware of it. Subway. I'm not sure what Tweed is. It might be a cannabis store. Something else of no interest to me. Oh. It's a way to drive. I hope he knows what he's doing. You really, you'd have to be really careful with your up there. You're a long way from the front end of your vehicle. Regina Pat's business office. It was the Rough Rider business office for a short period of time. But I guess once Mosaic Stadium was built, they moved in there. The building is Superstore. Isn't there. The building is still there. It's now called Regina City Crossing, I think, Cider Crossing. And it has a lot of different things in it. When Superstore left, it was completely remodeled. Well, like I said, the basic shape of the building is the same, but now it's got all kinds of stuff in it. I'm wondering why they're called the Pats. They're named after the Princess Pat's Canadian Light Infantry. And of course there's a new hotel over here now. Relatively new. All part of the rail line redevelopment, which has never really taken off. Rail yard redevelopment. Still, there's a hotel there and a pub next to it. I've never been in there. So now we're on Dewdney, Warehouse District. I probably won't respond to any notes for a minute or two because I can't see a thing. Sun in my eyes. Well, I'll definitely not walk down the street there. Ugh. Now there's the new hotel. Get a good view of downtown from over here. We get a little further up. Don's photo down there. It's been around for a long time, though. This is a new building, or mostly new building. Railroad tracks. This is where the tornado came through in 1912, tore the top off of that building, which was there then. It was rebuilt. But it basically came more or less along the railroad tracks here and Lawrence Street. From that direction, you can see the railroad tracks line up perfectly with the legislative building dome down there. There's a number of nightclubs along here. But there's downtown, the skyline of Regina, such as it is. Rude Awakening here, which I've eaten at a few times, or written at a few times, I mean. The tornado was more along Lawrence Street downtown, so it obviously veered a little bit, but it was more or less along the railroad tracks when it got up here in 1912. And again, there's downtown, skyline. And once these were warehouses, there was a railroad track that ran in behind them, and this is where, when homesteaders were coming into town, they'd buying equipment down here, and there was a big residential area on the other side. There's a few old houses left over there. But yeah, this was kind of would have been a very busy place in the early 20th century. Here's Bushwhackers, best brew pub in Canada. I'm not just saying that, it's been called that by others too. If you're ever in Regina, I highly recommend their beer. And their food is good too. Downtown again. There's a high-end guitar store here. If you're a guitar player looking for an excellent instrument. Again, the Sacrament building. I've been in here. I shot a music video in here once, of all things. I was in a music video that was shot here. It's on YouTube. It's called, it's by the SS Minnow, or just the Minnow. And it's called, This Is Our House, maybe? No, I don't want to get it confused with the Our House. It's a very, very, very fine house. But it was something like that. Look up the Minnow or SS Minnow. There's a music video. I played the host of this party, a rather nasty host of this party. Get caught literally with my pants down, canoodling with a guest at the party while my wife's in the other room drinking. So it's that kind of a music video. And the funny thing is that the woman who played my wife, years later, when we reconnected, it was because she was the mother of my daughter's best friend. She's a filmmaker. She lives in Winnipeg now. So I thought that's what kind of a small province it is. Gale's Florist. Again, I know there are notes, people saying things, but I can't read them. Oh, now here's a good place to look at the full effect of the downtown skyline. Probably my thumbnail. So that there is the tallest building in Regina. The, what hotel is it now? The Delta, I guess? They changed. At one point it was Ramada. But that's the tallest building in town. I was on the roof of it once doing my science column with Colin Brewer from CBC when I was doing that. We went up there. I think we were talking about skyscrapers. And that was the best we could do in Regina. It all starts to look more interesting as you get the sun different, but now there's buildings getting in the way. Oh yes, Rebellion Brewing also makes excellent beer. I like their amber, one of my favorites. This carpet factory discount furniture carpet store has been here now for a long time. Felt weird when it first went up because it's so different from all these old buildings over here. You get used to it. Okay, we have to cross up here, go through the underpass again. Much longer underpass here. Many more tracks go over top of your head. Someday I'll come do more walking in the warehouse district specifically. It's far enough from home I'd have to come up here and park to do it justice. So I'll do that one of these days. Today I didn't actually have my car, so we have 2 cars, but my wife took one to work and the other one was parked underground at our condo that we own because of the hailstorm the other night. Alright, so now we go under here. Cyclists dismount. I would suspect they don't always, knowing human beings as I do. They'll get noisy under here in a minute. I can probably read comments when I get up here in the shade a little further. Ah, there we go. That's it. Our house. It was our house. Yes, that was Dewdney. And I'm glad you feel like you're in Saskatchewan. That's kind of the idea. I'm going into the light. I'm walking into the light. It's like the tunnel you're supposed to see into the light when you're dying. This must be a near-death experience. Oh, I guess it's over. There's artwork up there. See? He's not dismounting despite the sign that says cyclist dismount. Did I call it or what? Although I guess it's possible there's no sign on this side. That wouldn't surprise me. Still, not safe to go zipping down there at that speed with pedestrians coming. Alrighty, we'll just work our way down now towards home. I said I'm not sure this will be a full hour today. I think from here, how long have I been out? 34 minutes. Yeah, it'll probably only be about 45 minutes. If I was walking all the way home, it would be an hour, but because I'm cutting that short over at by Central Park and Central Collegiate's former location, that's where I'll be ending up. Of course, used to be the train station, now it's Casino Regina. There's cyclists on the bike on the sidewalk. I sang in there once too before they turned it into the casino. So here's, as I was saying, building in Regina. That's kind of the convention center for the town. Small conventions. Oh, hopefully this works. I can get across here. Looks like I should be able to. We'll go up and walk down Hamilton, which will take us straight back towards where I want to be. Oh, good timing again. That's the show lounge over there. I've only been to a couple of shows there. Most of that time that it's been there, our daughter's been a child, and you have to be 19 or older to go in. And we didn't want to go to shows without her usually. So, partly as a way of kind of protest, we just didn't go to any shows. Did see one. I think it was Forever Plaid. Production of Forever Plaid was there. The other thing I mentioned is that about the time that I was writing my biography of Jimi Hendrix, published by Enslow Publishers, children's biography, oh, what's his name? Guy from the Animals. Huh. Lost his name. Anyway, he was here performing. And this was the same guy who found Jimi Hendrix's body after he overdosed. And I wanted to say, you know, back when you were, you know, hanging out with the likes of McCartney and Hendrix and all those people, Eric, somebody help me, lead singer for the Animals. Can't believe I can't pull it to mind. Too much blood going to my legs, I guess. Anyway, it would have been interesting to say, you know, did you ever think at some point in your career you'd be playing Casino Regina? Probably that would have been kind of mean. You're still working. I mean, that's what you do as a musician, right? You just keep working as long as you can, anywhere you can. It's your job and you need the money. There's an apartment building here. Eric Burton? That does sound right. It should be solid in my head, and I don't know why it's not. Burton? Oh well. Anyway, the story stands, whether I can remember his name exactly or not. It was just funny, or ironic, that he ended up in Regina just when I was writing this biography of Jimi Hendrix. I did biographies of Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Johnny Cash, and Andy Warhol, so I was kind of really stuck in the 60s there for a while. Also J.R.R. Tolkien, Orson Scott Card, and the Ayatollah Khomeini. Those were the biographies I wrote over a span of a few years when I was doing a lot of educational books, or books for educational publishing. Haven't done any for a while. They got old. They were an awful lot of work and they did not pay well. Now we're on Hamilton Street. Eric Burden. That's it. Burden. Not Burton, but Burden. That's the FCC building. This is Tower 3 of the 3 towers that have been built here. So it's the most recent one. Everything looks quite sparkly here in the morning sunshine. This is Lancaster. Used to be Logie's Shoes. I bought shoes in there, and we're eating there next week with my brother, his wife. Here we go, Tower 3, Tower 2. So the first 2 towers are the ones over there, and then this was Tower 3. built by the Hill Company. Hill Companies. This one is Mosaic, the potash company, has its head offices in there. I think that's the bank that was robbed a little while ago, the Western Bank. You know, some sort of low-level bank robbery, but still. This work is being worked on. Normally this is a one-way street down here, but it's two-way because of work being done. TD there. We do some banking there. Scotiabank on my left, so it's kind of a bank corner. And that's the Avery Tower. As I like to mention, my optometrist used to be up there. And so when you got new glasses, you could look out the window out over the prairie and see how sharp they were. Now, my optometrist is on the ground floor. FYI doctors here. FYI doctors. And don't get that effect anymore. I have a long history with optometrists. Had glasses by the time I was 5. I was farsighted to start with. Then for about a year I was not too bad, and then I went nearsighted and I got progressively worse. And I have really, really strong prescription. Fortunately though, it was great once I moved to contacts because I didn't have to wear those really thick lenses I was up to. And even with more modern lenses, high refraction glass lenses, they're still quite thick. So contacts were great for me. Laser eye surgery's never really been a good choice for me because of astigmatism. There's Victoria's. It used to be a florist's shop as well, so it's an old building, but now it's called Victoria's Tavern. There's the Avery Tower. Rude Awakening on the corner used to be called Atlantis. It's a coffee shop I've written in a lot, and probably will again. I haven't quite gotten back to it since things opened up a bit more. There's Crave over there, used to be the Assiniboia Club. Hotel Saskatchewan there, and then this is the Sas Power building, which is completely enclosed in scaffolding at the moment. And it has been for quite a while, so I presume they're giving it a facelift of some sort. Golf Steakhouse over there, eaten many times. The Motherwell building. Now condos, used to be government offices. Oh. Police with flashing lights in front of the hotel down there. That's never good. There's the entrance to Golf's. It'll be a bit more than 45. It won't be too far off. A little shorter maybe than some, but not really short. It's always a good time to look at buildings from this direction because of the sunlight in the morning. Blessed Sacrament Catholic Church there. I've sung in there. Did a lot of recording in there with various choirs I've been part of. Well, mainly I guess it was the University of Regina Chamber Choir recorded in there. This used to be the bus station. Then they built a brand new state-of-the-art bus station, and then they closed down the bus company. Well, that is the Sas Power Tower. It's just wrapped in scaffolding. Unless they were somewhere else before that, but I thought that was built in the 60s, so. I'm unaware of anything before that. And this is the Wawa Shriners. Okay. There must be a story behind that. It's a miracle, I guess. Somebody threw away their crutches and started walking. I like this whole building, this apartment building. It always looks neat and tidy and has nice grounds in front. That's a health building, or part of it is anyway. I'm sure there's other things in there. The Capel apartments here, they go back a ways. We were just in Toronto and walking around the annex, which has all kinds of old red brick Victorian buildings, houses. This is probably the one thing around here that would fit in nicely in Toronto, older part of Toronto. And there's another one right next to it, but actually a different building. Apprenticeship works over there for apprentice programs, offices. This is a government town. There's a lot of government offices everywhere. We're getting pretty close here. We'll go through Central Park, kitty corner over there. This was a Japanese restaurant. You can probably tell from the wagon wheel it's not a Japanese restaurant anymore. I think we celebrated our first anniversary here when it was a Japanese restaurant. Haven't been in the chuck wagon. All right, I'll go over to Central Park. Not that Central Park, our Central Park. "23 block rows." Well, that's just the next block is 23 block. This is 24 block, or sorry, 22 block. And Rose is another block over to my left. Well, heck, if you want, I'll go over and walk down 23 block rows. It's only a block over. I'll do that. I'll do that for my faithful follower, E.T. Central Park. Of course, in the middle of here that I've often walked by, but I'm not today, since of what I'm doing now, there's a monument to her, Mary Bonnie Baker, who was one of the professional women baseball players during the Second World War, when all the men were off fighting, and so to keep the hunger for baseball fed, they created the women's professional baseball. It's a shame it didn't continue. There's a nice garden over there, probably somewhat beat up after the hail the other night. Okay, so we'll go over and take a walk down 23 block of rows, and then come back around the front of the condo to catch my car. Comes another potentially dangerous cyclist. There's lots of room here, unlike under the overpass. relatively new house. I remember the old one that was there. I think this is kind of an ugly house. But they didn't ask me, and they still aren't, so they probably wouldn't appreciate that opinion if they heard it. But it's unlikely they'll see this video. And that's a whole bunch of new condo-style houses over there. So, this is Rose. This is the 2300 block. Sure, what was your address? See if it's still there. One of these. We've got 2313. We've got 2317. Ah, well then, that would have been right here. House is still there. Be better in the shade. There we go. Does it look familiar? Has it changed much? I can't tell if anybody's in it or not. It has a slight abandoned look. I don't see any curtains in the windows. So it may be empty at the moment. So I heard it was a play school. Well, it looks abandoned now. There are some businesses along here, like this has a plumbing business in it. Can I walk through behind this building? Oh, I can. Well, let's do that rather than walk along College. I've walked along College many a time. Old apartment building. We'll take this path. This area is generally called the transitional area because it's residential transitioning into business, but there's still a lot of residential around. My dad bought it from his grandmother when she went into a nursing home in '59, the year I was born. But not here. I was born in Silver City, New Mexico, so I didn't even know Regina existed for a very long time. So this is across the street then is where Central Collegiate was. This was the first, oh sorry, over there. The one that faces on College was the first condo building built. The one we're in, that we own a condo in, was built in '97. And then this one was built about 2000 or something. All by the same developer, all with the same style. There are still trees in front of our condo building, and I assume some of these as well that were here when Central Collegiate was here. Just about ready to wrap this up, because I'll go in through the back door over here. There is a plaque in the front of our building that mentions that this was the former site of Central Collegiate. And I think part of the facade of Central Collegiate is up on Saskatchewan Drive somewhere in front of I think it's in front of a senior's home or something like that. Well, we'll stop up here between the buildings. So thanks so much for walking with me, and equivalent of West End in Vancouver. My brother used to live in West Vancouver. Thanks for walking with me if you're with me live, and if you're watching the recording, thanks for that too. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.